So I was thinking of planetorial communication devices, which, if they do decide to colonize Mars, which we have to do ground samples and ground testing to make sure that not just the surface of Mars is radiated, but as you go further, because radiation seeps in as Mars absorbs the sun's radiation. Who's to say that the radiation levels 100 foot below Mars's surface aren't higher than above Mars? So, if the radiation samples that we've received from rovers, we haven't been able to go deep enough to find out if the radiation levels are higher the further you go down, because the closer you are to radiation, the more it seeps in. So if the radiation levels on Mars are lower on ground surface, then there's a lot into play when it comes to that. But planetorial communication devices, which means that if we do colonize Mars, then we would put satellites every like 40,000 to 100,000 miles apart to ensure a good connection from Mars to Earth, which, in my time with intelligence, immediate data transfers, which is no lag. And people say, what do you mean by immediate data transfers? If you have a team in the military, which intelligence is part of the Department of Defense, if you got 8 members of a group or team, unit, whatever you want to call it, is pinned down, and it takes 20 minutes to download the information to save their life, that means you're choosing their life over connection. So that's why we have immediate data transfers, which is if you send 20 gigabytes of data, it's done instantly to save their life. Now, when I say planetorial communications, I mean, so from here to Mars, every 100,000 miles, we would have a high frequency, high output satellite that has not two phases, but two sides. One receives, one sends. And they do that the entire length of the way to make sure that we have a constant data flow, rather than it be like, because the further something is away, then it takes longer. So like if you're on Mars, you'd get like 1 megabyte per second, which would take, like, if you had a gigabyte of data, it would take like an hour to send that information. But if you station satellites every 100,000 miles with high frequency, high output, you would have the connection that you need. Planetorial communication devices. Talk to me now.